Imagine you're face to face with a hardened criminal holding hostages. Your words could save lives or cost them. Now, have you ever been in a negotiation where you felt like you had to settle? Like if you didn't meet halfway, you'd lose everything? Well, what if I told you that splitting the difference is actually the worst thing that you could do? Welcome to BizLit, where today we're diving into Never Split the Difference by former FBI hostage negotiator Chris Voss. And trust me, after this, you'll never negotiate the same way again. This book flips everything we think we know about negotiations on its head. Voss brings his high stakes experience from FBI hostage negotiations to teach us practical, real world tactics for everyday situations. Whether it's negotiating a salary, buying a car, or closing a business deal, you want to be the one who always gets the best outcome, right? Stick with me and I'll show you how. Let's kick off with one of the most powerful concepts Voss introduces: tactical empathy. Now, empathy doesn't mean agreeing with another person, it means understanding their perspective. Voss says, and I quote, "People want to be understood and accepted. Listening is the cheapest yet most effective concession we can make to get there." This is what allows us to dig into the emotions driving the negotiations. This isn't just being nice. Tactical empathy allows you to gain the upper hand by knowing what's driving the other person's decisions. For example, you're in a business meeting and notice that the other party is hesitant about your pricing. Instead of jumping to defend your numbers, you might say, "It sounds like you're worried about staying within budget. Can you tell me more about that?" This simple question disarms them, showing that you've tuned into their concerns, and it puts you in a stronger position. Let's break down the most powerful strategies from the book. These 5 tools, they're straight out of an FBI playbook. The power of no. People fear no, but Voss teaches us to embrace it. Why? Because no is the start of the real negotiation. Example, negotiating with a supplier and they reject your offer. Instead of walking away, you ask, "What would it take to make this work?" That opens up doors and creates solutions like extended payment terms or bulk discounts. Mirroring. This is the art of repeating the last words that your counterpart says. It sounds simple, but it's widely effective. It makes people feel heard and subtly nudges them to reveal more information. Example, imagine you're talking to a client who says, "We're not sure if this solution fits our needs." You mirror back, "Fits your needs?" They'll likely expand on what exactly isn't working, giving you the insights to address their real concerns. Calibrated questions. These are how and what questions that invite cooperation. They don't trigger defenses. Instead, they help guide your counterpart towards a mutual solution. Example, you're negotiating a raise, but your boss hesitates. Instead of pushing harder, you ask, "What challenges do you see in approving this raise?" Now you've turned the conversation into a problem solving session instead of a standoff. The accusation audit. Anticipate the other person's objectives and call them out before they do. It disarms them, builds trust, and makes them more likely to work with you. Example, you're selling a product and you know the price might seem high. Instead of waiting for them to object, you could say, "I know this seems like a big investment up front, but let me explain to you why it's worth every cent." You disarm the price objection before they can even raise it. Bargaining with reality. Voss introduces a concept of bending reality, making the other person see the deal differently through strategic anchoring or silence or even deadlines. Example, you're negotiating with a partner on a project deadline, but they're resistant to pushing it up. Instead of just asking, you might anchor by saying, "If we could meet this new deadline, we'll be better positioned for a successful launch," meaning more market share. You've reframed the urgency of the deadline in a way that benefits them. But my absolute favorite takeaway from Never Split the Difference is yes is nothing without how. In other words, it's easy to get to someone to say yes, but it doesn't mean much unless they're committed to making it happen. Example, you close a deal with a client and they agree to your proposal. Instead of celebrating too early, you ask, how can we make sure that we're both on the same page moving forward? This brings both sides into a practical conversation about execution, and it avoids any misunderstandings later. So, whether you're negotiating your next big deal or simply trying to get your kids to do their chores, Never Split the Difference equips you with the tools to master any negotiation. These strategies, they are like superpowers in a business suit. Now, before we wrap up, I have some exciting news. In our next episode of BizLit, we'll be reviewing Seeing What Others Don't by Gary Klein, a book about discovering hidden insights others miss. And as a bonus, one of you, our amazing audience, suggested that we review Exponential Organizations 2.0. Keep the suggestions coming. And who knows, your favorite book might be next on BizLit. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more insightful business books reviews. And don't forget, if you're interested in grabbing your own copy of Never Split the Difference, please check out the link to the publishers in the description below. Thanks for watching. And remember, when it comes to reading business books, we don't just learn, we take action. Have you used any of these techniques in your own life? Share your experiences in the comments below. See you next time.